Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Merritt Holly. I'm the superintendent of schools at Leroy. This morning at 5 a.m., the district became aware of a report via anonymous Safe School helpline. I immediately notified the Leroy Village Police Department. In the interest of student safety and security, I made a decision to close all Leroy Central schools today. A robocall was sent to our families and staff notifying them of the closing. Our district crisis team immediately went into action. The district fully cooperated with the Leroy Village Police Department in this investigation. A senior high school student who made this threat has been identified, and the district and law enforcement will determine the proper course of action. The student and family have been fully cooperative, and I want to repeat that again. The student and family have been fully cooperative. The district takes these kinds of threats very seriously. In a 3-hour span, we worked with the Leroy Village Police Department and now have closure to this situation. Again, I want to repeat that again. We take this very seriously, these type of threats. In a 3-hour span, we worked with Leroy Village Police Department and we have closure to this situation. There will be no activities, athletic contests, games, or practices on our campus this afternoon and tonight. The district is currently in a lockout as part of our district protocol. All activities will resume tomorrow. Again, all activities that are scheduled for tomorrow will resume. We strive here at Leroy Central Schools to make this a safe place for all of our students, our staff, and our community members. We appreciate the cooperation of our students and parents who assisted in this investigation. We thank our Leroy Village Police Department and our school resource officers for their diligent work in this investigation. We are very proud of our students and our great relationships we have with them, along with our community. And I'm going to turn it over to Emily McNamara, who's a sergeant with the Leroy Police Department.
Good morning. I'm Emily McNamara. I'm a sergeant with the Leroy Police Department. This morning at about 5 a.m., the Leroy Police Department was contacted regarding this incident. We determined this to be a credible threat, and we began our investigation at that time. At about 8:42 a.m. this morning, the student who made the threat was identified, and we are working with the district and the family on the proper course of action. This is another great example of the partnership that the Leroy Police Department has with the Leroy Central Schools and how we work together for the best possible outcome in this incident. This was an isolated incident, and I really want to emphasize to the community and to the students at the school that we don't believe that there's any cause for any further concerns or alarm, but we will continue to work with the school district to make sure that this stays to be stays a safe environment for everyone. This is an ongoing investigation, and as a result, the information that I can share with you at this time is going to be very limited.
So I think from our end, we'll take questions, but obviously, as Sergeant McNamara said, we're in a situation where we are continuing working with the family. But if you do have some questions, we can try to take some now from you if you're interested in doing that.
Holly, can you, or Emily, can you characterize or help to define what you mean by credible threat? What factors go into making the determination that this was more than just a high school prank?
I think from my end, this is far from a prank. I think with the investigation going on, I don't want to get specifically of what was said and what was put out, but credible, I think, is the key term, threat. And I think that in this day and age that we're in right now, as school districts, not only here in Leroy, but across this state and across this country, it's our duty and responsibility that we look into every possible situation, and then we have to do our due diligence. And I think we did that in this situation, working with law enforcement to look into it and get us to where we are right now, which is we have resolution to this situation.
Merritt, how did you become aware of this post?
So our district has the Safe School Helpline, which this is our second year in using that. That's where this was turned over to, and then they contact us. The Safe School Helpline brings that to us, and then when we got that, we turned right away, looked into it, and contacted Leroy Village Police and made them aware of what we got.
Was the threat of a nature of, I'm going to do this, this, and this, or is it just a general I'm gonna cause problems.
Because this is an ongoing investigation, we're not going to discuss the specifics of what the threat was, other than there was a threat made.
How was that threat made? Was it on social media or a verbal threat?
It was made on Snapchat. Yep, Snapchat.
Can you say if a parent or student is the one who called that helpline?
It's anonymous, so that's the purpose of that. The Safe School Helpline is it's anonymous part that we use to keep confidentiality of who put that in, so we do not know.
And when was the call? When did the call come in?
So we got that information around, as Emily mentioned, about 5 this morning.
Was there an indication? Was there an indication to the student that somebody was actually going to carry out something? You said credible threat, so.
Right. Again, I mean, due to the ongoing investigation, we're not going to comment on that right now.
What potential charges could the
Um,
student person face?
Well, there's the potential for several different charges, and I think until we look a little further into it, I'm not going to comment on what the charges may or may not be.
Is the student in custody?
No.
How about disciplinary action?
So from the school district's end, obviously, we'll go through our district protocols and that, and we'll, as I mentioned in my statement before, and I think this goes not only for Leroy Central School, but across, again, our state and across our country, that these are something that we're not going to tolerate, and we're going to follow through to the letter of our code of conduct and our disciplinary actions that we'll take on it.
What was it about the threat that had you take both schools offline?
I think it's one of those where we're a tight-knit, small rural school, and I think there could be connections of a lot of different shapes and forms. And with that, I think it was one of those things to take both off. We're protecting all students at this time, so that was the decision to do that, is make sure we protect both schools.
Obviously, it's a very serious decision to close down schools for a
Absolutely.
day. There's a lot involved. But my question is along the lines, given that, is there, how do I put this? It must have been serious enough that you're willing to go through all that, the cost of it, plus the risk, and this is what I'm really getting at. Are you worried about the risk of copycats because of what happened today?
Howard, it's a good question. I think from my end of it right now, I think because we know what the threat was, we know who the person is. I think from that end, this is exactly, I'm not going to use the word, there's nothing textbook when you get into these, but I think if you have a situation where we have finality to what we know, I think that's exactly where you want to be. And I think if we could have gotten that, when you think about the time frame of we're trying to get that information and go, I think closing the school today looks very small in the big scheme of things, that knowing that where we got to and what we have, that it's over and we've finished that it looks small in pale comparison to where we are with not having students on campus today.
It
Male
sounds like
or
you're saying
female
there's,
students?
We won't comment on that end
it
of it.
sounds
Yeah.
like you're saying there's some context to this threat that had you take it seriously, not just the wording of the threat itself.
You can interpret that.
Was there any incident that may have led to this threat?
This was, as Emily mentioned, this was an isolated incident.
I believe that there was a student arrested last year or the year before for making threats. Would this be the same kid, or would this have?
I won't comment. I won't comment.
We thank you all for coming today. We're going to take off and continue our investigation. I know the school has a lot of things to do on their end as well. So thank you for coming in. We will keep you updated with any new information that as it comes in. But that's all we have for right now.
Did the tweet come across
Thank
with
you.
pictures, or just a message, or how did it come across?
Just a message.